I have been using this for a while now, so I figured I would share some thoughts. This is a tall metal storage cabinet meant for a garage, a workshop, a shed, or even a utility room where you want your tools and gear off the floor and behind a lock. If you have been stacking boxes, piling up power tools on a bench, or leaving bottles and hardware on open shelves, this kind of cabinet is for you. I also think it makes sense if you want one place to keep things you do not want kids or visitors casually grabbing, because it has locking doors. What made me try this one was pretty simple. I wanted a cabinet that felt like it could take real use in a garage without feeling flimsy, and I wanted shelves I could move around as my storage needs changed. In my space, the stuff I store changes every season. Sometimes it is bulky power tools and cases. Sometimes it is car care supplies and shop towels. Sometimes it is hardware bins and small parts organizers. A fixed shelf layout never really works for long. In person, it looks like a straightforward black and silver metal cabinet. It does not try to be decorative. It looks like something that belongs next to a workbench. The finish on mine has held up fine so far. I have bumped it with a vacuum, leaned awkward boards against it, and slid tool cases in and out. I have a few light scuffs, but nothing that looks like peeling or rust starting. The metal panels feel solid when you knock on them, and the whole cabinet feels more rigid once it is assembled and squared up. The doors are what I notice the most day to day. They open and close with a normal metal cabinet sound, not a soft close kind of thing. On mine, the alignment was good once I took my time during assembly. If you rush the build and the frame is slightly twisted, you are going to feel it in the doors. After I got it leveled and tightened evenly, the doors stopped rubbing and the gaps looked even. The lock works the way you would expect. I do not treat it like a safe, but it does stop casual access, and it keeps the doors from swinging open when I am moving things around nearby. Assembly was not hard, but it did take some time. It is the kind of build where you want a clear floor, some patience, and ideally another person for a few minutes when you are dealing with larger panels. I did it in my garage with basic hand tools. The instructions were usable. I would not call it fun, but it was reasonable. The main thing is to loosely fit the frame together, get everything square, then tighten it down. If you fully tighten too early, you can chase alignment problems later. Once it was built, setting the shelves was the part that actually felt satisfying, because you can tailor it to what you own. I changed my shelf heights twice in the first week. I started with evenly spaced shelves, then realized my larger tool cases were wasting space. I lowered one shelf to fit a tall stack of cases, and I raised another shelf to make a slimmer section for smaller items like gloves, tape, and fluids. That adjustability is what makes this cabinet work in real life. You do not know your ideal layout until you actually start loading it. In daily use, it has helped me keep the garage calmer. I put my heavier stuff on the lower shelves, like my bigger power tools, a small floor jack, and boxed hardware. On the middle shelves, I keep the things I reach for all the time, like drill cases, chargers, sanding supplies, and my measuring tools. The top area is for light stuff I only use occasionally. With that setup, I am not worried about shelves sagging. I have put real weight on them, and I have not seen bending or warping in my cabinet. I also like that the cabinet is tall, because it lets me use vertical space that would otherwise just be empty wall. One thing I paid attention to was how it behaves when you load it unevenly. In my garage, I am constantly grabbing one tool and throwing another one back in. Over time, some sections get heavier than others. With this cabinet, as long as it is on a flat surface and you assembled it square, it stays stable. If your floor is uneven, you may need to shim it a little so it does not rock. My garage floor has a slight slope, so I had to adjust where I placed it to keep the doors feeling normal when opening and closing. I also tested it with items that can be messy. I stored spray lubricants, a small bin of rags, and a few bottles of cleaners. It is nice having that stuff behind doors because it looks less cluttered and it keeps dust off. The inside is easy to wipe out if something leaks. That said, if you store liquids, do yourself a favor and put them in a tray or a bin. Any metal cabinet can turn into a mess if a cap comes loose. Noise is worth mentioning. If you are the type of person who wants everything to feel quiet and soft, this is not that. It is a metal cabinet. The doors make a metal sound. The shelves make a metal sound if you slide something heavy across them. In a garage setting, I do not care, but it is part of the real experience. Now, I need to address something that some people ask about: smart features and a mobile app. This cabinet does not have any. There is no pairing, no alerts, no tracking. It is just a physical storage cabinet with a lock. Personally, I prefer it that way for a garage cabinet. Less to troubleshoot and nothing to update. The only security is physical security. So if you need something that behaves like a true safe, this is not a replacement for that. Over the months I have been using it, the biggest strength is that it keeps its shape and stays practical. The shelves have not developed a noticeable sag. The doors still line up. The lock still works smoothly, and I have been opening it constantly. It has become the place where my tools actually live, instead of being spread across 3 different corners of the garage. There are limitations. Assembly takes time, and if you do not have patience for that kind of project, it may frustrate you. The metal edges and panels also deserve basic care during assembly. You should wear gloves if you are sensitive to sharp edges, and you should avoid dragging panels across concrete if you care about keeping the finish clean. Another small thing is that I wish the door closing felt a little more damped. But again, it is a metal cabinet built for a garage, so I accept it. Overall, this cabinet has done what I needed it to do. It gave me a tall, lockable, adjustable storage space that can handle real garage gear without feeling delicate. I do not think it is for someone who wants furniture. It is for someone who wants their tools organized, out of sight, and reasonably secured. If you have questions about how I set mine up, or what I am storing in it right now, leave a comment and I will answer. If this video helped, subscribe to the channel for more real-world reviews. Thank you for watching.